So slide, flip, turn. Translation is just a slide. Translation, so you slide, that's a translation. Reflection is a flip, or I like to do a little squiggle and think of it as a mirror image. A mirror image. A rotation, you darken a pivot and then imagine something rotating on that pivot. We're on the reference booklet, guys. Reference booklet, it's normally where we start. And whenever we do this, whenever we take a triangle and we put it through certain motions, we get additional congruent triangles. Now, we're going to write this out. You did this last night. It's a fancy name that you need to recognize. And Alex, I will use a slang version, a shortened version of it. For now, just write the complicated one. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. You're going to see this on Alex, so you need to recognize it. Corresponding parts of corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Say with me. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Do you see that? We have to basically say whole equal. Okay. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles. So if these triangles are equal, then all the parts are equal. Let's zoom through this. I'd like you to write down the motion from this triangle to this triangle. What's going on there? It's either translation, rotation, or reflection. Write it down. All right. Tori, what do you think it is, ma'am? Okay, if it's reflection, if you put a line like this and you imagine if you flip over that line, this G, if we flip over that line, that G would end up over here. Do you see it? Okay, so it can't be reflection. It's what out loud? Rotation, because if you look at G, G actually rotates this way, Q rotates to there, and then P is a rotation there. So it is rotation. All right, then, so if the triangles are equal, the parts are equal. So this is where you have to align stuff. Q, see the double sweep? Angle Q goes with what angle? See the double sweep, guys? Out loud. Q goes with I. Great. P, single to single, that's obvious. R, circle it, goes with what? G. Okay, ready? I'd like you to trace PQ. Trace PQ. Show you why. PQ. PQ, you go from single to double. PI, single to double. Order does matter here. You fill out these two blanks. Go. Fill out the other two blanks. Order matters. Be very careful there. Order matters. Order matters. Five seconds. Five. Yeah, order first, guys. Check. Check that. Okay, thumbs up if you got the 2 out of 2 there. Thumbs up. Okay, guys. And that is as hard as it gets today. So go to the front of today's lesson. The first thing I like you to do is I like you to take this triangle and draw a translation of it. You don't need to carry over the letters, but you need to mark it. Then I want you to draw a reflection. Then I want you to do a rotation. Notice I want you to rotate that 180 degrees. So carry the markings over. You don't have to carry the letters over. So I just want you to physically draw a translation, reflection, rotation. I'll give you about 2 minutes, and then we'll go over it. Yeah, keep your reference booklets right there by you so you can see what you're doing here. You're drawing, guys. That's what you're doing right now, including the rotation 180. Is this about done? I know that rotation's usually the trickiest. Okay. And take a peek there. Translation, that's the easy one, okay? So you just split it over the exact same thing. Reflection, it should look like a mirrored image right down the middle there. Okay. Have it just kind of be. And it's 180 degrees, so what you do is you take each point and you swing it around an exact 180, which if I take I and flip it around 180, it goes over there. And K, basically, we're pivoting on K, so K really doesn't change too much. And then J comes down here, and again, if you look at it very carefully, it is an exact 180. So I know it's usually the trickiest. Triangles with congruent triangles. So let's see if you can't write that in from memory. Go. Write that in from memory without peeking at your reference. Real quick. What's up, Mr. Swing? You just stretching? Okay. You can see the word congruent twice here. So everything hinges on the concept of things being equal. So we have to go through real quick here. How do we know things are equal? The simplest one, if it's marked equal, it's equal. Okay, so pre-marked. It's marked for you, it's equal. Then you have three, what I call freebies, which means they're congruent, but they're not marked. And you got to watch out for these because they're not going to be pre-marked for you. One, out loud, what is it? Vertical, so you do half tracks and you do a capital A for one set of angles. Please, I beg you, every time you mark a pair of angles, one capital A. One for each pair. Mark that. So thank me next class. You'll understand why. This one right down the middle, that's a reflexive side. It's like an apartment wall between two triangles. And this one, if you see, we have overlapping triangles. Let's pull those out super quick. Just pull those out. There's L, H, and J. No, I, excuse me. I'll switch colors. That's K, H, and J. They exactly overlap at the exact same spot. See that? What letter do they exactly overlap at? You see it? Right here, to see it's L, H, I, and K. The overlap at H. So H is what's called the reflective. That's the hardest to spot. No, not too bad. How about that? All right. Real quick, I'm going to zoom through these just for fun. I want to see if you can't see these motions in art. Okay? So you're going to use your hands. This is about rotation. One of my favorite graphic artists. You see artistic work. He's known for what's called optical that. This will be what do you think is going on here? It's pretty obvious. It looks like rotation, but if you look really carefully, you see this guy? Can you spot an exact one that looks like this? Two up? So that's also what? Translation going on. Technically both. Let's try another one. What's going on there? We got slides going on. All right. But what about these guys? That's not a translation. That's not a rotation. That's a reflection. Yeah. So that one's the other one was rotation and translation. This one's reflection and translation. This is making you busy. We've got reflection going on. Do we have do you see translation? Yeah. And then if you see all three of them together, what about this guy? I really like it. If you get close up on this, he goes from 2D into 3D. It's like really artistically creative. Dark grays would be a translation. If you put all three of them together, what's going on? Really kinetic. That's rotation. Okay, so this is the basis of artistic design that actually is under half an hour. Start area just 3. Okay. What happened to my recorder? There it is.